For years, Collin Gosselin was hidden from the world by Kate, but now, years later, he's finally speaking out about how she abandoned him, and his story of what happened is truly insane.
She needed someone to take out her anger and her frustration on.
Collin, John, and Hannah all recently appeared in the first episode of Vice's new documentary, Dark Side of the 2000s, and the episode was all about their family, and it gave us all a lot of insight into what actually went on between Kate, John, and Collin. And probably the most shocking part of the documentary was when Collin spilled the tea on his difficult childhood, and he accused his mom of being harmful towards him, and he said that this was part of why she ended up sending him away, and it all started when Collin decided to speak up for himself.
I was starting to tell people what was going on at home.
He was just a small kid, but Kate didn't like that he tried defending himself.
She caught wind of that and had to put me somewhere where I wouldn't be able to get the secrets out.
And Collin admitted that he was not a perfect child, but he also pointed out something else.
My misbehaving was no different from my siblings.
But even Collin was a little difficult, and that still doesn't excuse what Kate did, because Hannah described the things that Collin had to deal with, and it was honestly heartbreaking. Guys, listen to this.
He would be separated from us.
And Kate would apparently isolate Collin and keep him away from his siblings.
Like, he would not get to come and play outside with us.
He would even have to eat his meals at different times, and he was constantly alone, being punished for something that wasn't even his fault. And Hannah even said that she didn't think that any effort was made to help Collin learn what behavior was and wasn't acceptable, and it just sounds like Kate held a grudge against one of her kids for basically no reason, and she seemingly had no interest in making their relationship better, and he was just there to make her feel better. And Collin admitted that he knew that his mom was going through a lot.
I mean, a divorce and plenty of different things that can't be easy to go through.
And according to him, she just needed someone to take her out, her anger and frustration on, and this ended up being him.
I was in the way, and I was there, so she chose me.
And I mean, what kind of mother actually does that? Collin was a kid when all of this happened to him, and Kate seemingly just decided that one of her kids didn't really deserve her love and positive attention, and that was that. And when she got fed up with taking care of Collin, she just sent him away. And this was actually another thing that Collin opened up about in the documentary. He talked about his time at the Fairmont Behavioral Health Institute, and he's obviously opened up about this before, but what we found out this time just makes this whole thing even worse, because Collin said that he thought that his mom just sent him away so that he couldn't get her into more trouble, and he was starting to speak up for himself, and she allegedly did not like that, and so she sent him to the institute where he wouldn't be able to say anything. And Collin spent 3 years at the institute, and he said that he was in a really dark place mentally, and we know that eventually he wrote to his dad, and John decided to get him out. But there's one crazy detail that John let slip in the documentary that is just heartbreaking. John said that he had to spend over $1 million to get Collin out, and that he had to pay for psych evaluations and a bunch of other things, and he admitted that he spent everything he had just to help his son, which is just completely insane. I mean, Kate decided to send Collin away because he was an inconvenience for her, and it cost John everything he had. And John obviously cares a lot about his kids, and he also took Hannah in after she found out about what happened to Collin and decided that she didn't want to stay with Kate anymore either. And this is what makes the family's current situation even more devastating, because right now John is still estranged from all of his other kids, and he talked about this in the documentary, and you could see that he found it all extremely difficult. And he said that he has no access to the kids, and he still has no idea why they stopped coming in the first place. He has no answers, and according to him, that's really the worst part of it all. And John said that he would prefer it if the kids just straight up told him they hated him or something like that, because he has nothing, not even that, and he has no closure, no explanation. And I mean, it seems pretty obvious to me that Kate probably turned the other kids against him, and Collin even kind of somewhat sort of confirmed this in the documentary, and he said that he thinks that his mom drove a social barrier between them all, and she most likely told the other kids one version of the story, but Collin and John obviously see it in a different way, and something like this could be easily fixed with open communication, but that doesn't seem to be happening in the family right now. And Collin even said that he never heard from his mom or his siblings after he was in a car crash in 2022, and the whole incident was terrifying and genuinely just dangerous, but the family allegedly didn't reach out to him at all. And despite that, Collin apparently still has hope, and he said that he still loves his mom and he hopes that they can all reconnect one day and take back the time they didn't have. And interestingly, Hannah and Collin both agreed on one thing, which was that the family's TV show was the source of many of their problems, and it really drove a wedge in the family, and being in the public eye pretty much destroyed them and tore them apart. And now all they can do is hope that one day they'll all be able to pick up the pieces. And according to Collin, the show was actually one of the reasons why his and Kate's relationship started breaking down in the first place, and she was already stressed because of the divorce and all that. But then Collin started becoming uncomfortable with the show, and he didn't want to be on camera anymore, and he would refuse to speak in interviews, and this apparently made his mom very upset. And Collin said that this was definitely one of the reasons why he and Kate didn't have much of a relationship. And while Hannah said she understood why her parents agreed to do the show in the first place, she also said that the show was to blame for what happened to their family. And the whole episode was really just heartbreaking. And Collin and Hannah and John all seem to regret what happened, and they clearly all wish things were better for them all. And who knows, maybe one day things will actually improve. I mean, Maddie and Hannah actually went on TikTok together a while ago, which was pretty shocking because everyone thought that they weren't really on speaking terms, but they did a couple of TikTok lives together, so maybe there is still hope. And Collin, John, and Hannah are clearly willing to fix things, so it all depends on what the other kids think and what Kate actually told them. And I'm not sure if Collin and Kate's relationship can ever be fixed. I mean, the way she treated him was really horrible and cruel, and I just don't know what it would take to make that better. But I definitely think that the siblings could work things out, and John really misses them too, so maybe they could at least, give him a chance and talk to him. But anyway, what do you guys think about all this, and what do you think about Kate using Collin as an apparent scapegoat for her problems? I mean, do you think that's what she was doing? And why else do you think, she sent Collin away? Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below.